This is the Para Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Parramatta Leagues Club, home of the Eels, and also home of Jack's Pale Ale.
Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
And yes, welcome back to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and this is the game review podcast of the round 27 clash between the Newcastle Knights, who took on the Parramatta Eels at their home, Commbank Stadium. And I am joined once again by Ben from the Corner Post. How you going, Ben? You must be like me and over the moon about that result yesterday.
Oh, you know what, mate? I am doing absolutely brilliant right now. The only problem that I have is I can't seem to find any words to sum up the demolition job that we just witnessed. What do you say about a game like that? Usually we have a couple of notes to go through where we could have been better or we could have been worse, but we were perfect.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Look, going to the game yesterday, getting off the, it was buses that were running from Penrith anyway, not the trains. But when I got off the bus and walked into Parramatta City, there was a great vibe in the city. There was lots of Parramatta jerseys. The sun was shining. Got to the Leagues Club and there was a good vibe in there as well. Obviously, I don't know whether it was Father's Day or whether it was the last game of the season or whether people expected us to win and win comfortably, but it was a really good vibe, so I was expecting a really good game. What were your thoughts heading into the game against Newcastle, with, especially I guess with all this talk about Dylan Brown joining Newcastle next year?
Well, I unfortunately didn't get to go to the game. I did have prior commitments with my kids for Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to you as well, Troy, and to all the dads out there listening as well. So I got to hear the game on the radio driving back from the South Coast. So I've had all day today now to sit back and watch the game and sort of see it as I heard it, I guess.
Yeah.
As I said in the opener, I don't have words for it. It's such a 10 out of 10 performance that I think we've been waiting a long time to see out of Parramatta. It's probably a real shame that it's come this late in the season, because I feel like we finally found the formula, and I think we'd be a hard team to stop come the rest of September.
Yeah, definitely. I guess you could say we are the form team at the moment, I guess, being 3 wins in a row on the trot now. And especially
I saw Canberra.
Yeah, well,
Canberra for sure.
Oh, 100%. 100%. They had a hiccup yesterday, but they didn't have all their major players in. But and funnily enough, they conceded 50 points, so I don't know if they can win the competition now, as stats show, but maybe they might create a bit of history as well, being the first team to win a competition.
Yeah, well, just like 2021 for us, that's going to be tested, isn't it? Because I believe we conceded 50 in 2021 and almost got over the hump in the grand final.
2022?
2022, yes.
Yeah. 21 we did finish, I think it was 6th in 21, I think. But, it was, you're definitely right there. Look, there was 23,359 there, so it was a great crowd. It was a great atmosphere.
Great turnout.
It was. It was just a sea of blue and gold. There was flags, there was jerseys, there was everything you can name of. But it was a great turnout. I guess being Sunday afternoon, I had my hindrances coming into it, but being Father's Day, I thought that might have kept a little bit of the crowd away. But certainly a lot of families took their dads to the game. But it was almost like as if we were actually going to be playing finals, and just had a wow of a season with that crowd that turned up.
Yeah, it almost feels like we sort of have treated the last few weeks like a final series. It's like they're maybe trying that out for next season. I guess a lot of this season was all about learning, and maybe Riles has told them to get into that mindset for the last few weeks, and maybe that's what they've done. And also on the side of that too, congratulations to everyone who got out to the game. 23,000's a brilliant crowd for a public holiday, I suppose, isn't it? Great job to everyone who got out there. That's not the numbers that we want to see.
That's for sure. And how ironic was it, Dylan Brown scoring the first try in the game?
Yeah, well, he had a couple of cracks at the conversion there too. That the first one didn't quite go to plan there, did it?
No, he should have got that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he was having a bit of fun with the crowd beforehand, and maybe didn't have his head where it should have been. But you know what, he's probably earned that.
I actually thought he played really well yesterday. And as I said, against the team that he'll be joining next year. So a lot of people thought, well, you know, a lot of people going into it thought that he shouldn't be there anyway because he's leaving the club. But I thought it was a nice touch for him to be in there and be in the number 6 jersey, to partner up with Mitchell Moses one more time. And it was great to see him, and he did play well.
Yeah, I don't want to be all doom and gloom for Dylan's career because I know he's got a long time left to play, but he maybe think he went into that game thinking this might be my last chance to have a real big performance and a real big match because I can't see Newcastle pulling it out of the gutter anytime soon. I think they're going to be a bottom 4 team for a very long time to come, unfortunately, for Newcastle fans.
Yes, well, news today that Sandon Smith has signed a 4-year deal with Newcastle as well, so no doubt he'll be joining Dylan up there in Newcastle in the halves somewhere. It was a 12 tries to 2 victory, obviously scoring 66 points, and it was 9 out of 12 conversions. As you said, Dylan Brown missed one. He also got one in the end as well. Zach Lomax, he was pretty good with the boot. He got 8 out of 10, which is not too bad, as we have seen him struggle the last few weeks, but the last couple especially, he's been radar-like again. Mitchell Moses, he scored a hat-trick. What was your favourite Mitchell Moses try on the weekend?
Oh, God, how do you pick one? I like the one that Ade Carr got involved with. I think Ade Carr had maybe one of the best games of his career yesterday. Or yesterday as the time of recording this.
Yep.
I love how much Ade Carr has gotten himself involved with the team at the start, at the back end of this year now. The one that he set up, he pretty much set that up on his own and just let Moses stroll over untouched. I think that maybe capitulates a great game.
Yeah, for sure. I just saw him get outside the winger of Newcastle. I can't remember if it was Marju or
Hudson Young. Dominic Young.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he just got around him and just basically outpaced him, and he was jogging in the end, and then just got the ball inside to Mitch. And I think that was the try that he did the Hain plane after it. So
yes, correct.
I think that was his 3rd try. Before that, Riley Smith, he got over for his first NRL try. It was pretty a sneaky little run from dummy half there. He saw a gap, saw an opportunity, and finally got off the nudie run.
Yep. You and I sat in these exact same seats this time last week and said how good would it be to see Riley start to take some runs.
Yeah, well, both hookers, Talon De Silva, he also got a try as well, and same sort of thing. He saw an opportunity, and look, I think that will give Talon a real lot of confidence as well, because one of the first people to congratulate him on that try was Mitchell Moses.
Yeah, and very, very well deserved for Talon as well. The same thing this time last week. We had a few words about Talon as well, and maybe some areas that he could improve in. And I think that he really He must have listened to the podcast because he did pretty much everything that we asked of him, didn't he?
Yeah, he did actually have a couple of good runs, and he only played, I think, 30 minutes off the bench, but it was pretty impactful. He had 3 runs for 66 metres, so including that try that he scored as well. So well done to Talon for that. Just going quickly back to Josh Addo-Carr, 3 tries as well, and I believe he's the 4th ever player to score 10 plus hat tricks in his career, so he's on 159 tries now. There was comments that he wants to crack 200 tries, and he believes that there's still time in his career to do that. Do you think he'll crack 200?
I think if he can continue on the pace of 15 to 20 tries a season, give or take, I think he was very unlucky this season to not hit the 20 try mark. If he doesn't have that suspension at the start of the year, and if we're maybe a bit of a more rounded team to start the year, maybe he gets across that 20 try mark. And he looks like he's aged like a fine wine. So I can't see any reason why he doesn't get to 200. In fact, I'd have him getting there within the next 2 to 3 years.
He is 30, so there could be probably, maybe 4 to 5 years. He's certainly not slowing down at the moment, so there is a little bit of talk about him potentially going on that plane to England for the Kangaroo Tour, for the Ashes. I don't think he would be out of place in that Australian side at all.
No, absolutely not, and I would absolutely love to see him there too. I'd love to see him and Lomax actually representing the green and gold. I think they're probably the 2 form wingers of the competition right now. We'll get on to Lomax shortly as well, because he also showed exactly why he should be in that Kangaroo squad. But on Addo-Carr, I think despite the fact that he's 30, he seems to be in the best shape of his career, and he seems to be wanting that recall. I dare say he probably wants a Blues recall as well, but that's a conversation for April, May next year.
Yep.
I cannot see any reason why he shouldn't be at least on the plane, but I would definitely love to see him in a tandem with Lomax and even Moses in that Kangaroo squad. I don't think all 3 of them would be out of place at all.
Yeah, I think Josh Addo-Carr has just brought a real sort of energy to the club. We see it on the field, but we also see it off the field as well, and especially at like training sessions and the like. He's very vocal, he's experienced, he's a good communicator, and I think that's probably one of the best things to come out of this season for Parramatta is the fact that the communication from the wingers this season has been very different to what it has been before. I don't think the opposition has scored many tries this year from wingers coming in, and that certainly shows this year. It was a little bit a fray at the start of the year. Obviously, Addo-Carr was out with that suspension, but no, you're certainly right. He could have 20 plus tries easily if he did play those first 3 games, but is certainly one of the buys of the year. Zach Lomax, 23 runs again, 212 metres. We saw him do a couple of offloads as well of Mitchell Moses' kicks. He's been having a great season as well.
Yeah, like you said, the 212 run meters was absolutely massive for us. It was the line breaks and the tackle breaks for me. He just did not want to go down at any point in that game. He seemed like he was fending off 4 or 5 players every time he touched the ball. He definitely, I think, for me, probably gets the man of the match. I know that's probably a hard one to split when you score 66 points, but I think the work that he put in, I think he's probably peaking at the right time for us, which is probably pretty evident. I'd love to see him follow that form on through the Ashes tour and then through into next season as well, because what a player he's becoming. He had his moments a few weeks back where he seemed to be maybe a little bit lapsy-daisy when it came to the defense, and he wasn't quite getting under the high ball the way that we know he can do. But he put all of that to bed for the final game. He saved his best performance for last, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's done a lot of work this season, and geez, will deserve
13
it.
tackle breaks, by the way. 13 tackle breaks.
Yeah, unbelievable. He'll certainly get a huge rest come the off season after that tour. That is for sure. Look, it was a massive team effort. I thought again from we've seen it the last 3 weeks. From beating the Roosters, the Warriors, and now Newcastle. It's just been a real team effort. No real player has, I guess, really stood out. A lot of the fans, when asked, did say Mitchell Moses was their player of the match, and look, you can't necessarily go against that. I don't think. He kicked 13 times for 437 metres. 8 runs, 167 metres. Most of those was in his first try down that short side, which we know he is capable of doing. He spots an opportunity and does that. So I think the player of the match, you'd have to agree with the fans, was Mitchell Moses. I went for Josh Adokar as the 2 points, and I actually went Jack Williams as the 1 point. He's been a great buy this season as well for Parramatta.
Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree. Everybody's going to have their opinion on that match, and like I said, there's no MVP when it comes to a 66-point flogging. Everybody's obviously got in and done their job to the highest standard possible in that situation when you get into those kind of nitty-gritty games. For me, the point for Lomax was the 13 tackle breaks. I think that's enormous. I think he was 7 above the next best Eels player. But Jack Williams, great shout too for your 1 point. I think he's probably also had one of the games of his career. Great offloading, great line running, great line speed from him too. He seemed to be up there in the line every single time the ball was played. Not a lot of hands on hips from him yesterday. I think Dylan Walker again is worth a mention. He was very unlucky not to have a try assist with that disallowed try, which I definitely would love to get your opinion on, because I think we all saw something different to what the refs saw, similar to the Warriors game last week. A very controversial decision.
I think watching it, I thought it was always going to be no try though. Even if Jake Arthur...
It had the makings of one of those ones.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a game at full speed, and when you're looking at that decision, Jake Arthur's definitely tackled Paulo.
Oh, yeah, definitely, 100%. But, watching it live, you could just see that Junior's gone through. Dylan has gone behind him and just, stopped, and he's, sort of thinking, what should I do now? Should I just, go down like all the other players do when they think it's a shepherd? But he went to play on and actually put the ball down and scored a try, but it was ruled no try. But... just watching it live, I thought it was going to be no try.
Yeah, the radio call that I had at the time was filthy with that decision, because they truly believed that Paulo had been tackled off the ball, which is what I saw when I saw it again.
Yep.
I mean, doesn't make much of a difference when you score 66 points, does it? But it is an interesting point to bring up. It's one that you'd like to see the referees get right. I think logically that one probably should be a try. Maybe Walker does go down next time and just concedes to avoid the issue there. But for my money, that was the wrong call.
Well, speaking of another try that was awarded later on in the game, and that was the try to Will Penasini towards the end of the game. It was ruled a try because Tyson Frizzell was ruled offside and intervened in the play. Will did drop the ball over the line. What's your thoughts on that one?
Fine with it, mate. That one's ruled the way that it should be ruled.
Yep.
It's either going to be a try or it's going to be a sin bin. So you take your pick in that situation. Probably Newcastle probably opts for the sin bin if you just to avoid the record score.
Yeah.
But no, I'm fine with that. That is what it is. It was what it was. Frizzell was offside. He was in the line, and he caused Penasini to drop the ball over the line. So, it gave Penasini a try on his milestone game.
That's right.
I believe every milestone player got on the score sheet. So we had Brown for his final game, Penasini for his milestone, and who was the other player we had on a milestone? Was it Jack Williams?
I don't think so. I can't remember. I can't recall, to be honest.
I believe we had someone on their 50th game.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'll have to go back and check that one. But you're definitely right. Dylan Brown got a try in his last game. Will got a try.
And Riley Smith's first career try too.
Yes.
That's another one to point out as well.
And Junior Paolo got his first try of the season as well. So
Matt Dury it was on his 50th appearance.
Okay, Matt Dury, yeah, there we go. So congratulations to him. And he's been a real good player off the bench as well. And he showed that again yesterday. He ran a great line. I think the ball was from Jermaine Hopgood to Matt Dury, and he's been one of the players on the bench that have certainly stood up.
Yeah, Matt Dury is turning into a brilliant young player. I think a lot of football clubs would love a Matt Dury in their club right about now. He works hard, very professional from what I hear. Always up there to take a hit up. What more can you ask from a player?
Yeah, no, I think he may become similar to Dean Witters and be like the super sub, I think, off the bench. I mean, he is definitely able to start games, that is for sure, but I think I like him off the bench at the moment. Anyway, this season's over, but he certainly has made an impact on every game that he has played this year. Going into the stats of the game, a few stats, as you know, I love my stats. When it comes to run metres, we've mentioned him before. Lomax, 23 runs, 212 metres. Fox, 14 runs, 193 metres. Jack Williams, 18 runs, 192 metres. Mitchell Moses, 8 runs, 167. And Junior Paolo as well, 18 runs, 159 metres. Is there anyone on there that surprises you, or is there anyone that you thought might have got onto that list?
Not at all, to be honest. I think it's pretty spot on. Hopgood having another good game, continuing his good form. Dylan Walker always deserves a mention. He seems to be, like you say, that super sub type player where he can come on and change a game at any given moment. Almost operating as a third hooker for us currently as well, which is great to see.
Yep.
Great for Talon and Riley to have an experienced player like him helping them to find their feet, which is obviously seems to be working anyway. Kelmer
Yep.
is one worth a mention, I think. If I am not mistaken, I think he dropped his headgear last night.
I was just about to mention that. I was just about to ask you, did you notice that he did... I don't even think he started the game with it, or did he?
No, I don't think he did. I did have a quick moment to think, who's this wonderfully braided man, and then I realised it was Kelmer.
So I wonder if that's going to be the new Kelmer next year. No.
Yeah, he's been hiding that Avatar style haircut for a while, hasn't
he? Yeah. Well, speaking of Kelmer, he made 29 tackles throughout the game. You mentioned Jermaine Hopgood as well. He was the top tackler with 38. Williams and Walker, 18 each. Charlie Geimer as well, 16 tackles as well. And 1 try assist for Junior Paolo. So he's another guy that I think this season has come on leaps and bounds. He burst onto the scene last year, played a couple of NRL games, and then unfortunately got injured for the rest of the season. Has come back this year. I don't know how many games he's played this year, but just of recently he's been coming off the bench and has really made an impact like Matt Dury has off the bench.
Yeah, and great job by him for that as well. And just on headgear too, not to get too sidetracked or not to side quest too far away from the main objective, but wouldn't it be fun to see somebody put together a list of player stats for players who have worn and also not worn headgear over the course of the season? Because my mind goes back to Nathan Cleary's performances wearing the headgear, where he hasn't been the greatest, and then obviously how great he is without the headgear. I'd love to see if the headgear makes any statistical differences, because it seems like he almost played a hell of a game without it. So maybe you should keep it off.
Yeah, well, maybe he might look at doing that next year. Well, I think there was word today that Nathan isn't going to be playing the finals with headgear, so you could be onto something there. Those tackle numbers are probably down a little bit because Parramatta had 61% possession, so they had more of the ball than Newcastle, and it was almost like 10 minutes more than the Newcastle Knights. Completion rates was a little bit down, 78%, but look, it doesn't matter when it's 34-4 at half time. And I'm glad that they actually put the foot on the pedal in the second half as well and continue that momentum to put 66 points on.
Yeah, I actually thought they were going to get to 50 before halftime. I'm actually quite surprised with the possession rating there, considering how many points were scored in that match. It felt like, listening to the game live on the radio, I'm not sure how it felt at the ground, but listening to it live on the radio, it felt like Newcastle just never had the ball. So I'd be interested to see the first half, second half split of possession, because I feel like the first half you probably got Para in the 70s range of percentage, maybe. Yeah, it felt like we just didn't have the ball in that match, which is great. You want your young players to be controlling a match like that. And considering the scoreline as well there, that's definitely an interesting one there. I thought that number would be higher.
Yeah, well, it was Newcastle completed at 86%. They had they completed 25 sets out of 29, so they only scored 2 tries as well. 44 tackle breaks for Parramatta, so defence obviously was an issue. We knew that going into the game with Newcastle having had big scores against them previously in the rounds before. They obviously fell for a lot of dummies as well, because Parramatta threw 36 of them, so there was obviously a lot of dummies thrown, and Newcastle must have fell for a lot of them. Parramatta's average set distance was 42.75 metres, and their play the ball speed was pretty good as well, 3.17 seconds.
Yeah, and not a lot of missed tackles or ineffective tackles either to go with that. They had 85% tackle efficiency, 243 tackles to Newcastle's 355. I mean, they got flogged by 66, but 84% is not a bad number for Newcastle there, despite the scoreline. I think you find the other 15, 16 odd percent of that was exactly when we were scoring, because there's a big gap there, I feel, between their tackle efficiency and the scoreboard.
Yeah, it certainly was a good set there. I think one of my highlights was. Well, I'll ask you first. What was your highlight of the match? What was the highlight for you?
I think Adokar maybe is the highlight for me. I just think his game in general. The couple of chip and chases there, they were awesome to see. That looked like vintage Adokar all over again. Moses linking up with him all game long and creating that havoc that they did create. I think that's probably it for me. It looks like those two guys are enjoying their footy in a way that maybe somebody coming back from a major injury and maybe somebody coming back from a suspension where their NRL career was nearly ended but got given a lifeline. That's the kind of chemistry that you want to see from those guys, maybe having a second crack at making it a career as a footy player. Because we obviously know that these injuries, some players don't come back from injuries like the one that Moses had, and some players certainly don't come back from the charges or alleged charges against Josh Adokar at the start of the season either. So I think seeing them finish the season with the smiles on their faces and the chemistry and the link up and everything that we saw out of them yesterday, you've got to smile. That's got to bring you joy as a Parramatta fan, and that's got to bring you hope for season 2026.
Yes, definitely. And speaking of season 2026, well, 2025 has now ended for the Parramatta Eels. They ended up finishing 11th on the ladder, having played 24 games with 26 points, 10 wins, 14 losses, obviously the 3 byes with a for and against difference of minus 76. So 6 wins at home, 6 losses at home. 4 wins away, 8 losses away as well. So a little bit up and down season. We'll probably do a season review maybe next week or the week after, something like that, of the Parramatta Eels season. But it definitely finished off strong, and to finish in 11th position, look, it's not it's definitely not all doom and gloom for next season. It was an improvement on last year, having finished 15th, and finishing 11th this year, only 6 points out of the 8. So there were some games throughout the year that we could have won that potentially would have propelled us into the 8. And also you got to think too that Lomax was out for 5 weeks. I think Mitchell was out for 10-11 weeks as well. So that could have been a different story, but we'll do a review a little bit later. Also on yesterday was the NRLW game, the Eels versus the Tigers, round 10, which the Eels won 38 points to 4. Did you catch much of that game as well?
I got to catch the replay of that one this morning.
Yep.
I was very, very, very impressed with the girls this week. I feel like they've really turned it around from last week. Titans also copped a surprise loss, maybe a surprise loss there, which keeps the door ajar for the girls for playing some finals footy there as well. I think it's a bit of a long shot, but where there's a will, there's a way, and where there's a chance, you never know what could happen there. But yeah, look, I think a great return from some of the performances that we've seen over the last few weeks there. They've definitely probably been a bit disappointed in their own performances over the last 2-3 weeks. But yeah, what a game yesterday. They brought it back and some, so hopefully they can carry that form over into next week and maybe squeak into the finals, and we can see what they can do.
Well, just looking at next week, the Eels, they take on the Bulldogs, a new side in the NRLW, and the Gold Coast take on Canberra Raiders. Now, the Canberra Raiders are in 11th spot. There is a call from Ricky Stewart for all the grades to be played at Canberra on Sunday, so that could be potentially a home game for them, I think. I haven't checked it, but the Raiders will be keen to win that one just to finish off their season on a high, so hopefully they can get the... I know all the Parramatta fans will be cheering for the Raiders to get the victory over the Titans.
Well, hopefully they don't play that at Canberra, because as we brought up last week on last week's show, Canberra have not been very good in Canberra in the W. So we'd probably be hoping that they don't play that in Canberra. We don't want to Don't want to put the mocker on them. They need
Well,
to come up with a miracle for us.
good news. I've just double checked that, and that game is at Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. So it is a Gold Coast home game. So the Raiders will have to win an away game for the Parramatta fans. That is for sure, because I know all the Titans fans were cheering on
They're not bad at
Parramatta.
that.
Yeah, well, the Titans fans were cheering on Parramatta yesterday, so Newcastle could get the spoon in
Role
the
reversal
NRL.
now.
That's it. That's it. But no, look, it was a great game. It was great to see club debutant Kiana Takarangi get a try, the first try of the game. And that's a great story as well, with her dad Lewis and brother Brad also playing for the one club. So that was a great story to see her debut and score a try on the wing. Martha Mattielli, 3 tries, absolute weapon out on that wing for Parramatta.
Yeah, I want to circle back to Kiana actually, because big shout out to her, because what a performance that was by her on debut. Really, like you said, really good story there with Kiana. I'm really happy for her, and really pleased for her and her family. As a fellow stats man myself, my mind races when I hear that about her dad and her brother, because it makes me think, how many more families are there out there that have done that, have played in the women's grade, the men's grade, and obviously had another generation playing in either of those grades too.
Well,
So that would be an interesting stat for us to pull out.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, the Takarangis are the first to play for one club. And I'm not 100% sure about any others that have done it, to be honest.
The Reddy family is coming to mind for me. I know most, if not all, members of the Reddy family were professionals in rugby league and in other sports as well. I don't quite know if they got the stat that we're looking for, but that's something that we can come back to, I think, in the off season, possibly, when we do some more exciting things that we have planned for that.
Yes, or maybe even some of the listeners can message in and see if there's any other combinations like that, even if they have played for different clubs as well. But definitely they are the first to play for one club, which is great. Abby Church, she was outstanding again, 18 runs, 186 metres. Definitely one of the most important players in this Parramatta side. It was 7 tries to 1. Rachel Pearson, 5 out of 7. It was 28-0 at half time. So they really put on a show for the fans. And I think there was about 5,000 people who stayed around after the NRL game to watch the NRLW.
Yeah, and again, good turnout there. We want better for the girls. I think the girls put on a good show. They deserve a better product. They deserve a better turnout. I understand probably everybody wants to get the kids home and maybe go out for dinner with dad at the pub, but these girls need our support. They're a great young team. They've got a lot of fight in them, and they need our support. So let's make sure we get some good numbers out to their final, hopefully not final game of the season, but yeah, let's get some numbers out there and get some support going. Let's try to rally back and make the finals.
Yeah, no, it'd be great to see the women's team make the finals. This game is on Friday night against the Bulldogs at Commbank Stadium, so 5:40 p.m. So that might be a little bit of a tough one for a crowd to get out to, unfortunately. I think during this final series of the NRL, I think they put these games on before, because there's usually just the games on Saturday and Sunday. So this is the last regular round of the competition. So look, it'll be interesting to see what happens crowd-wise at Commbank. But yeah, as you mentioned there, if you can, get out to Commbank Stadium, because the women, they need your support to get this job done against the Bulldogs and get hopefully into the finals. Captain Mahalia Murphy as well scored a double. One of her tries was a try assist from Kennedy Cherrington, which was a bit of a cross-field kick. But the captain standing tall and scoring a double.
Yep, Mahalia is my favourite player. I know we're not supposed to play favourites, but she's
No,
uh,
that's
she's
okay.
she's been a favourite of mine since she was a rugby player. So I've always followed her, um, career with a fair bit of interest. Um, Local girl too, which is always a crowd pleaser when you have a local doing well. Um, yeah, great player, great player. I've been probably waiting all season for her to put in a performance like that because we all know she's capable of those kinds of performances, and I think if she can rack them up, um, hopefully this season doesn't end next week. But if this season was to progress past next week, I think we need a few more performances like that out of her to maybe make a deep finals run. But should the season come to an end next week, I think she's probably going to be eyeing off a few performances like that for season 2026 because she's integral to this team and we need her on.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why she is the captain of this side, a real leader, that is for sure. And look, this victory was also pretty good as well because it was done without one of their forward leaders in Elsie Albert, who I think was out with an ankle injury. So they managed to get the job done. They pretty much sort of doubled the run meters of the Tigers, which is unbelievable. They had 87% completion rate out of 34 out of 39 sets. So they had 63% possession compared to the Tigers' 37. So they certainly got the job done there, and we wish them all the best for next week. A couple of the top performers in that game, tackle-wise, Ruben Charrington, 25, Rosemary Beckett, 21, Kennedy Charrington, 20, Tess McWilliams, Boss Kapoa, and Brianna Eels, 16 tackles each. When it goes to the run meters, it's Abby Church at the top there, 18 runs, 186. Martha Mattielli, 14 runs, 179. Kennedy Charrington, 18, 148 metres. Eels, 12 runs, 131. Rachel Pearson actually surprised me as well. 23 runs, 122 metres. Also 5 out of 7 with the boot as well.
Yeah, great performance by Rachel. Brianna Eels as well, and Kennedy actually with a lot of run meters in that game. Arlo and Tufunga off the bench with a lot of run meters there too, as well as Tess McWilliams, 91, 111, and 100 respectively there between those three. That's huge off the bench. If you can get that kind of impact out of even your starting forwards, you're in for a good night. But that's coming off our bench. How good's that?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what you want off your bench as well. You want to have that impact, and getting those run meters as well, and just having that impact, which is great. So, look, as you said, let's hope we can get a crowd out to Commbank, even if it's like 4,000 or 5,000 again. I know it's going to be hard to get out there, but this game will. Even if you can't get out to the game, definitely try and watch it on TV because it will be, as you said, a chance for the team to get into the finals. They all they need to do is win this game and then worry about the game on Saturday between the Raiders and the Titans.
And you know what? If you can't make it out to the game, then definitely make it down to the corner post because we'll have that game playing on the TV inside the shop. I know I will definitely be a keen observer of that one, and we hope you can get to the game. But if you can't, the corner post is the next best option.
Well, this is it, and I think you'll be closed at that time anyway, 20 to 6, won't you? Or are you going to leave it open for the punters to watch the game as well and buy some Eels merch as well?
Yeah, I think it'd be a bit of the latter, mate. I think we've got a bit of interest in that game. So, will we know the result when do the Titans play?
The Titans play on Saturday, so
Yeah, so it's a win and you're in kind of deal for us there because we can't really control fate either way. So
that's it. That's it. And as I said, or I should mention too, the NRLW chat brought to you by the Corner Post at Westfield, Liverpool. So get down there for all your merchandise needs, not just Parramatta merch, but we'd prefer it to be Parramatta merch, but all NRL teams are available, and you'll be able to meet Ben here.
Yeah, I am always thrilled to meet new fans, always thrilled to meet new people. We've had a lot of wonderful new customers in the store since we've moved to Liverpool. It's definitely been a wonderful experience for us and a wonderful step up, and we thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts that has come through to support us, and those who will come through in the future to support us as well. It doesn't happen without you guys, and it is all for you guys. So, support us. We're a small family business. We're a local business. We're giving back to our community. We're doing everything that we can to be a difference in the retail sector and the retail community. We want to be different. We want it to not be the same stale, boring thing that we've seen for years and years and years. We're a shop with a difference. We're a shop with a mission, and we've got a lot of passion for what we do. So come down and support us.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the support that you guys give of the Paracave podcast as well. Ben, thank you very much for joining me today for the review of the NRL round number 27 game, Eels V Knights. Unfortunately, there is no more NRL for us in terms of Parramatta this season. As I said, we'll do a season review in the next couple of weeks somewhere, somehow, so stay tuned to the Instagram page for when that comes out, and also doing the NRLW review as well. Enjoy your week, enjoy your rugby league that is coming up in the finals.
Yes, mate, you too. I look forward to seeing what happens here. Fingers crossed that the NRLW gives us something to talk about as well over the next few weeks. But if not, I'm sure there'll be a hot microphone there for us to talk about some NRL finals footy either way. So looking forward to it. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, no doubt there will be some NRL talk, because you and I, we love talking rugby league, no matter if Parramatta's not playing. We prefer Parramatta to be playing, but unfortunately they're not, but we still love to talk rugby league. So yeah, no doubt we will do something like that in the next few weeks as well. Thankfully
for the fans as well, it's a very busy off-season. We've got a lot of international footy coming up, a lot of speculative talk for the World Cup that we could possibly delve into. Maybe some other little side projects that we've been sort of dancing around a little bit. I won't give too much away, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's for sure. Something exciting.
Exciting times this off-season, well, that's for sure. That's all we'll say.
That's it. Well, thank you very much for joining me. That is the round 27 wrap. That is the round 10 wrap of the NRLW and the Paracave podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!
Yes, up the Eels.
How you going, mate? Are you a Paracave podcast listener?
I am, bro. Okay. It's a great podcast. Everyone tune in.
Go Para.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.